the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the Zoom today is Terri Miller-Casey, Extension Director at the U of I Extension in Logan Menard in Sangamon Counties. It's good to see you, Terri. How are you today?
I'm hanging in there. The sun's shining.
Sun is shining. The planters are rolling, and
Yeah.
the 2026 the 2026 ag season is underway with everybody out there. So I don't know what it's
And
been like. Go ahead, Terri.
yeah, and I can always tell because then I get the cold,
Yeah.
So if I sound a little stuffy today, it's because all that dirt moving out there.
I'm waking up in the mornings, blowing my nose, coughing, all the things. It's time to get
Oh,
the
it
allergy
is.
routine back, right?
It is. Of course, I could probably blame the cat I have at home for that too. So
You can blame a lot of things. Sure. Very good. Well, always good to have you on the program, Terri. And I know we're going to be talking about succession planning, but a little different twist on succession planning for a program through the University of Illinois Extension. What do you have? What's going on here?
yeah, we have a rural business transition webinar series. So we've got a couple of workshops coming up on that. Today, actually, from noon to 1. So there's still time to sign up for that if you're somebody who's interested in organizing in your rural communities or you're wanting to help your rural communities with their economic development. There's a great webinar from noon to 1 today, and it's all about transitioning through co-ops and using co-ops as a transition strategy. And so a lot of times when people think about how we are losing a generation of folks who've ran businesses, who've really become an essential part of our communities, our business owners, our service providers. How can we continue when those folks are saying, hey, I'm kind of wanting to retire? How can we get those businesses in the hands of other people in our local communities so that we can keep that the continuation of service and still have those vital, offerings to people? And so this looks at a different way than just oftentimes we think, oh, you'll find a buyer in your sell, but sometimes that can be difficult, especially if someone's just getting started. They might not have the capital to purchase the business outright. And so some options is to have the workers themselves kind of step up and say, hey, I would like to acquire an interest in the business. And so that's what today's seminar is going to be about with co-ops. It's just a unique way of doing it. It allows the workers to take a piece and an ownership in the business. Sometimes it can be a situation where the co-op participants, the employees, slowly buy out the business owner. There's lots of different ways that co-op can be structured, and that's what today's seminar is going to be about. Just kind of the basics of how that works, how buyouts are feasible, and why this could be a really powerful strategy to keep some of those local businesses. And so that's today from noon to 1, and it's a free workshop, and there's still time to sign up. And then they're going to follow up with another workshop on May 5th. Again, it's a noon to 1 workshop, online webinar, and it's going to be about the role of community-supported enterprises and business retention. So, again, same challenges. Small towns, they're losing some of those long-standing businesses due to retirement. And so how can an organized group of residents, how can they invest into businesses or its structures and reopen it? And so these are really, again, these are some of those novel approaches to say how can the community work to attract prospective buyers? How can they try to take an active part in saying, hey, don't just close it down. Let's work together to see if we can find a solution. And there is a role for the community in helping to do those things. Sometimes I think we don't realize that we as a community can step in and be helpful.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Very good. Terri, folks may be listening and they say, gosh, this really sounds good, but I'm tied up today. This is the first time I'm hearing about this program. I just don't have the time today to make it. What's the best way to maybe revisit what is shared today or to get the material that is shared today? How would someone do that?
Yeah, well, I always recommend folks go ahead and go to the website and register for the event. One, you'll get oftentimes there's slide decks or there's additional information that participants get access to. And that will also put you in communication with the people who are the leads on these, the lead webinar coordinators, and they can help follow up with the information. A lot of times these slide decks, while they're not as interesting when you're not watching them live, they still provide a lot of great information, and they can connect you with the folks who are presenting. And some of these examples, these real world examples, they can help connect you with the communities that have already successfully navigated some of these waters.
For someone out there, like I said, listening, and they think this would be a great program, they wonder where does this material come from? Who is putting this together, and how is it gathered? How can you speak to that?
Absolutely. Well, Extension, we always work with research-based information. So we look at research done not just at the University of Illinois, but in accredited research institutions all across the country and the world. For the first webinar I talked about with co-ops, Stacy Molnix, she's a senior project manager for Iowa Center for Employee Ownership at the University of Northern Iowa. So here we're tapping in some folks from University of Northern Iowa. As for the one I talked about, communities getting involved in business retention on May 5th, that's Norm Waltzer. He's a professor of economics and the founding director of the Illinois Institute for Rural Affairs, which is housed at Western Illinois University. So this is a real collaborative effort, utilizing great information, research-based information from institutions all across the state and the country.
Very good. Very good. One more time, Terri, the when and where on this rural business succession planning webinar, and how folks get signed up, where they get more information.
Absolutely. Today from noon to 1 is the one about co-ops. On May 5th from noon to 1 is about how the community can support business retention. And you can sign up for any of these at our website, extension.illinois.edu/LMS, or you can always use your web browser and look up your local extension office and you'll find a link.
Very good. Terri Casey with the University of Illinois Extension, our guest on the Zoom here for today. What else do you have for us, Terri?
Well, we're going to switch gears and we're going to look at our health now. And I think it's spring and people are starting to get out and about. And I think it's always like spring cleaning for the house. Well, how about spring cleaning for our health? So there's a really great series called Taking Charge of Your Health, and it's throughout the spring. It starts on April 29th, and it runs from noon until 11:30 a.m. Again, this is all free. It's an online webinar. But this series goes 2.5-hour sessions, and it does it 6 weeks in a row. So this is no like just brushing the edges. This is more of a deep dive into health and health needs. And it's really great for those who have or maybe assisting people with chronic health conditions like arthritis, diabetes, hypertension. It explores how you can make good choices about nutrition and exercise, learn about available treatment options, discover strategies for managing pain, communicating with your healthcare providers. We know that's so important, working with your loved ones, and using tools to support your long-term disease management. And so what they're really recommending is full attendance for this. So if it's possible, they really want people to attend all of them because they build off each other.
Mm-hmm.
And those webinars are April 29th, May 6th, 13th, 20th, and 27th. And then they round out on June 3rd and 10th. So 6 weeks in a row, 2.5-hour sessions, but you're going to learn so much from fall prevention to eating healthy to exercise, medication, communicating with your family, just you name it, you're going to learn about it. And again, it's all free of charge. And it's not just for those suffering through chronic conditions, it's also for people who support them as well.
Very good. Very good. So put that one on the calendar. And again, Terri, back to the question, who is putting this one together? Do we have a lineup of speakers or those who are presenting?
Yeah, this is actually coming through a whole team on our campus from both our nutrition and wellness teams, but also from our team that work with lifestyles and transitioning from different periods of time, helping with folks as they age. So this is a great team of folks running across the gamut from, like I said, from nutrition all the way to how do we help elderly folks live a wonderful, fulfilling lives safely, well into their golden years. So it's a great team. Again, extension professionals, but they also look at that research-based material that's from all the great accredited universities.
Sure, sure. And just to kind of put a point of emphasis on it, you mentioned they really do want folks, if they're going to participate, to be there for all the sessions, because, like you said, they build off each other. Just remind us of that component there, Terry.
Yeah, right. So it's a commitment, but when you get done with this, you're not going to have just kind of a basic understanding. You're going to have a much more comprehensive understanding of all the different aspects of maintaining health when you may be dealing with some challenging chronic health issues.
All right, very good. One more time, Terry, where folks get information on this one, the when and where, and all those things.
Absolutely. It's extension.illinois.edu/LMS is where you can find out information. If you go to our events tab, you'll see all of our upcoming offerings that we're talking about, and even a few I didn't get to today. Or you can always call our office. Our Logan office is 217-732-8289, and we'd be happy to help you.
Very good. Very good. Again, Terri Miller-Casey, Extension Director for the University of Illinois Extension in Logan, Menard, and Sangamon counties. Terry, we'll take a break here. We'll come back, get to some more programs and such here on the morning show on WHOW. Again, it streams live to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Back with more in just a moment.
WHOW.
Let's check the opening numbers now at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Tuesday. I'm Jim Taylor on the RFD Radio Network. Corn steady, beans higher, and wheat slightly lower. May corn starting today, 452 3/4, up 3/4. July corn up 3/4, 461, and December new crop 479 3/4, up 1/4. May beans opening 1171 1/4, up 5 1/2. July beans up 5 3/4, 1187 1/2. And November new crop up a nickel, 1162 3/4. May Chicago wheat 594 3/4, down 2 1/4. May KC wheat 633 1/4, down 1 3/4. May bean meal 324.20, down 90 cents. May bean oil 70.51, up 88 cents. Energy market June Brent crude oil 95.15, down 33 cents. RFD Radio Network.
This is Inside.
Spring is in the air, so it's time to choose your new Silverado. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City. We have a good selection of new Silverados with springtime savings and special finance rates. Choose from regular cabs, double cabs, or crew cabs in gas or diesel. We're also allowing extra money for your trade on all new Silverados this month. Silverado, together let's drive. See all our inventory at BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
Here's Matt Hart, owner of the Hart Media Group in Clinton, talking about continuing to serve the community through new ownership.
Things came together and we reached an agreement to purchase. And as you mentioned, we closed August the 1st. So as August the 1st, Miller Media Group is now Hart Media Group. Mm-hmm. And we're continuing to serve the people of Clinton and DeWitt County and Monticello and Bloomington and Decatur and everywhere, because we'll just keep connecting people as we've been doing.
The Hart Media Group looks forward to continuing to serve the community for years to come.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, my guest on the Zoom, Terri Miller-Casey, Extension Director at the University of Illinois Extension in Logan, Menard, and Sangamon counties. Terri, let's continue on talking about programs coming up through the U of I Extension. What else is on the calendar?
Yeah, sure. So we've already talked about community and economic development, and then we got into health, wellness, nutrition. So we're just going to go to another area that Extension does and does so well. We're going to talk about vegetables and gardening and all things green. So on May 12th from 1:30 to 2:30, again, a free online webinar, we are going to unveil the new flavors of 2026. Now, you think that this is fashion season, right? And everybody's going to unveil the new fashions. Well, for Extension, our new fashions are new vegetable varieties. So for folks attending this webinar, they're going to be able to be among the first to discover some of the latest in vegetable gardening trends and get ready to transform their kitchens with a harvest of vibrant and enticing produce. So we know folks like to keep it fresh. Our hardcore gardeners out there are always looking forward every year to what not only their old favorites, but what they can do new, something fun, something I always say that once we get into growing season, you got to lock your cars in the Midwest, not because they're going to get stolen, because if you don't, they'll be crammed full of vegetables from people who just decide. I don't know if that happens where you're from, but it happens where I'm from.
That's funny.
Like you just go out and there's just like a random bag of like extra produce that somebody
Oh
has
my.
raised.
Oh, Terri.
So maybe I'm lucky, but hey, this year you can learn all the new flavors. So your neighbors will be excited when they get bags of exotic new vegetables to try out. So again, that's May 12th from 1:30 to 2:30. I think it's just fun. It's just fun to see some of the new varieties that are coming out. We know that there's been a lot of interest in heirloom varieties and some of the new ones coming in from all over. So it's just going to be kind of a fun opportunity for gardeners to check out some new options.
Sure, sure. And I bet those gardening programs, particularly like the vegetable gardenings, I bet those get a lot of interest, Terri. I don't know for sure, but I
Yeah.
would venture they
Oh,
do.
yes. Yes, very interesting. I mean, like, I think since COVID especially, we've seen just a lot more interest in gardening. I think it brought a whole new generation of gardeners to the forefront because folks had time, and some of those people it was a fad, but for many of them, they've stuck with it and they really enjoyed gardening. And I think there's a renewed sense of the idea of preparing our own foods
Mhm.
and being really involved in that. And it's multi-generational. So yeah, I think we are definitely seeing even an increased interest.
Sure, very good. Any more on that, Terri? If not, again, one more time, the when and where on it.
Absolutely. It's May 12th, 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. You can register online and it's free.
Very good, very good. Well, Terri, let's continue on here. What else do you have for us?
Well, you remember I was blaming my cold on my kitty cat. Well, we're going to poor kitty. We're going to talk about the importance of animals and being great companions for those folks who maybe are getting older. So there's a whole webinar on May 14th from 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. or 11 a.m., excuse me, 10 to 11 a.m., all about exploring furry companions for our elderly and those folks who maybe can't get out and about as much as they used to. And there's a lot of research growing that's showing that there's a lot of great health benefits and life and well-being benefits from having older adults connecting with their furry friends. So they can chase away loneliness. They can provide a sense of purpose. They actually get folks moving up and moving more. I think there's some fun alternatives for those who maybe can't care for a pet. We know that might not be an option, but there are some ways that we can still bring those little furry fun balls into the folks' homes and allow them to have an opportunity to really connect with a pet that can, just bring so much joy. Sometimes, when I'm cleaning up after my cat, I don't feel the joy, but for the most part, we know that pets can just really add an amazing dimension, including our dogs. And so I know my grandparents had a bird, and that I could tell you stories about that, but off air. But that bird, he could talk. He didn't learn to say nice things though. So maybe
I had a hunch
maybe.
that's where that was going.
Well, my grandpa was in the army, so
Well, then these are stories I want to hear then.
yeah, but that bird was great. But yeah, I mean, so it doesn't always just have to be a cat or a dog. There's lots of options. And so this is going to be something that's going to explore, in all seriousness, it's going to explore how pets can really enrich the lives of our older adults. And again, that's May 14th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Very good. Very good. Well, Terri, I know you wanted to wrap up highlighting 4-H in your counties. What's going on with
Yeah.
4-H these days?
Well, everybody's deep into working on projects. From May 1st to June 1st is when all the kiddos will be signing up for the fair, with our deadline of June 1st. So we'll start seeing kids signing up for the fairs and hopefully they're working on their projects. And one of the fun things the state is doing a Cake It Till You Make It state 4-H cake decorating competition. So this is really fun. It's on May 7th. It's actually on campus at Bevere Hall in Urbana, Illinois. So it's going to be kids from all across the state, and they're going to come and they're going to do real-time cake decorating that'll be judged at the end. So I think this is really fun. It's a great idea. It kind of plays off those cooking challenge shows that have become so popular. And again, I mean, it doesn't, you can sign up. You don't have to be a 4-H'er to sign up for it. It's great if you are, But again, that's May 7th, and you can go to our website and learn more about it and see if your young person would like to participate.
Yeah, I know Extension over here, Terry, has really leaned into kind of the cooking challenge world and kind of giving kids opportunities on that front. So good to see that, that's something maybe they can take advantage of at a state level. I want to revisit something you touched on kind of at the top of that conversation is fair sign up begins on May 1. How about that? And kids and folks need to start thinking about that.
Now, each county can have their own deadlines across the state. So I always tell folks to make sure that you're looking at your county's information, whether it be through the newsletter or in your show book. But for Logan, Menard, and Sangamon counties, our fair entry opens on May 1st and it closes on June 1st. So kids have about a month to decide, am I really going to do that project? Or I said I was going to do it. But yeah, that's a great opportunity for the kids to sign up and get ready for the show. And talking about the food challenge thing, I also want to highlight, we talk about our 4-H clubs a lot, and we love our 4-H clubs and our 4-H shows, but I just want to highlight the good work our staff's doing in schools. So we do a lot of programs directly in schools across our unit, and one of the most popular programs is Cooking 101, where kids really get to learn those vital life skills of cooking. So that's just one of the programs that we do in school. So 4-H is in schools too, reaching a ton of kids.
Yeah, definitely very good. So and Terry, I know we talked about this before we got on, but fair season, it's going to be here before we know it. I mean, when you and I catch up in May, we're going to be one month away from not Sangamon. Is it going to be Menard County Fair?
Sangamon's first.
Yeah,
and it's in June, and then mid-July we have Menard, and then of course the first part of August we close out with Logan. So we run the whole gamut, and I'm telling you right now, they're all hot. It doesn't matter if it's June or it's August.
Yep,
but that's okay.
Every year hot, and hopefully we at least avoid the rain a little bit.
Yeah, or the bad storms.
Sure.
I've been through that before. So
Very good.
if we can make it. We'll make it work.
Terry, always good to talk to you. I got to let you go for the day. Terry Miller Casey, Extension Director, U of I Extension in Logan, Menard, and Sangamon counties. Network news on the way.
WHOW.